we're leveraging artificial intelligence to create very affordable, very accessible mock interviews for clients out there that want to come to the US. They can do it anywhere. They can do it from their living room in their home. They can do it from a beach somewhere. They can do it on a mountaintop. It doesn't matter. And that's why I believe, individuals that are well prepared are the best. And that's what we're here for.
Patrick Findaro here, founding partner at Visa Franchise. Today we have a special guest, Alan Schwarz, former USCIS officer, has reviewed over 10,000 petitions for immigration, right?
Correct. Yep.
And how many interviews? How many people did you actually interview?
A lot. Well over 10,000. That was, almost all of them with the asylum division. That was the division that I was in. But yeah, thousands of interviews and, right.
And so, we had connected, probably 5 years ago?
About 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember you came into our office on Lincoln Road,
right,
and referred some prospective clients, and
correct,
appreciate that.
Yep.
For E2s, exactly.
Right.
And then we reconnected because now your co-founder, Fadi Minawi,
right,
has done a lot of E2s for our clients, probably 30 plus E2s filings for our clients. Right. And he told me what he was working on in Toronto, and he was very excited about your guys' startups. So yep. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about what inspired you three, I should say, to create immiprep.ai, and what it's all about, and how it's kind of the nexus of what you've worked on, as well as your two other co-founders.
Sure. Actually, there's four of us on the team all together, and all four of us have worked in the immigration space. I worked maybe for the last several decades doing immigration work, both for the government. I worked over 20 years with the U.S. government. USCIS, I was an asylum officer. I also worked for several nonprofits, so forth. So I had a lot of experience, and the other three co-founders also have worked in the immigration space. And we decided, for a number of reasons, we decided this would be a great idea to have a startup like this, which is essentially a mock interview platform. And we're leveraging artificial intelligence to create very affordable, very accessible mock interviews for clients out there, individuals that want to come to the US. We're starting with the tourist visa, the B1, B2 tourist visa, and this will give them an excellent practice, because that's one of the areas that doing so many interviews, I think practice makes perfect. And to have people well prepared for their government interviews, I think that's the best idea, and this gives them that opportunity.
Hey, you want to come to the US, get the E2 visa, L1, or straight out a green card? We've been doing this for the past 10 years, and we wrote a book. It's called Own Your American Dream. What is special about this book is that we went back and have spoken to 21 successful applicants who opened up their businesses here and who are continuing to live the American dream. Hear it from them, because they talk about their fears, their mental state, what went wrong, what went right. The entire blueprint is there. You could just buy the book right here. You can just read it and make up your mind. Continue your video.
And I mean, we're talking hundreds of dollars, right, to practice with a former consulate officer or a former USCIS officer. So it sounds like you're going to bring this to the masses at a pretty affordable cost.
Correct, at a fraction of the cost of using somebody else out there. There's there's different companies, attorneys that can prepare people. But this will give a fraction of the cost.
Right now at Visa Franchise, we have a former consulate staffer that worked at the U.S. consulate for 12 years, reviewed like 350 plus E2 visa cases. And for us, it's not high volume like you for the asylum or some of these USCIS petitions, but it's good to have him be able to review it. But let us know when you have the tool available for the E2 visa, because we'd love to have on like a few mock interviews and have the feedback going.
Yeah, we're going to be beginning with the tourist visa, the B1, B2.
And there's
but in the future,
5 million plus a year issued?
Well, I think as far as numbers of people applying, over 10 million
That's right.
last year. Of course, there's some rejections. Not everybody gets it, and so we felt have them to be really well prepared. It's a great idea, and with AI, with artificial intelligence, we can take it to the to the masses, as you say.
What are some of the mistakes that are common for the B1, B2? Like we have clients, for example, coming from Pakistan that will initially first get the B1, B2 visa and then later apply for the E2 visa or do a change of status in the United States on the B1, B2.
Right. I mean, basically some mistakes. I mean, when somebody is in front of a government official, I think they're going to be a little anxious, a little nervous, which is very normal. And they fill out a form previous to having their interview. It's a DS-160 form. And if, for example, there's any inconsistencies or discrepancies between the written DS-160 and what they say verbally, that could be a red flag. That could be, a cause of concern. If people are not able to articulate well, what their intentions are, why they want this visa, that could also be problematic. So, there's a number of areas, and that's why I believe, individuals that are well prepared are the best, and that's what we're here for.
And then what's your roadmap after B1, B2s? Are you going to continue with some of the other visas that are issued at the consular posts, or will you be moving more on the USCIS?
No, we're going to concentrate on the visas issued at consular posts. We're going to start out, as I said, with this, and then we're going to expand to other visas as well. Not sure at this point exactly which ones, but
see, what are the big volume ones? Like F1 student visas,
F1 student visa
J1.
is a very large one. Yeah, well, J1, that's a big one. I mean, there's a number of, those are ones that we've been contemplating. There's some, business visas, H1B, they said the E2. So there are a number of visas, and we have to decide which ones we want to go next.
And can you tell us a little bit, I don't know, about the pricing or the product, how people are able to leverage the service?
Sure. So basically, any potential applicant, if they have a device, which of course nowadays almost everybody has a device, either a laptop or a desktop or a mobile phone or and any type of device. So they would be able to access us online, and then they would essentially, pay them a small cost, and they would log on, and they would have a simulated interview with an AI agent. Essentially, is the interviewer. An AI interviewer is going to basically interview them as they would get at the consulate. So they're going to be very well prepared.
And do they get the feedback after the call, or how does that mechanism, how does that feedback loop work?
Sure. So they do the questions, and the questions are going to be basically what type of questions the consular officer is going to ask them. So they'll know what to prepare for, obviously. And then the feedback will be given to them. Both the AI interviewer will give them the verbal feedback, and then they're also getting written feedback. And they'll get a summary of their strengths and their weaknesses. So they'll be able to see how I did, because that's one of the big factors is the feedback. They want to know how I'm doing, how they did, and this will provide everything: the questions that they're going to be asked, the feedback, and a summary with their strengths and weaknesses.
And is it a single-use license, or could they be, do they practice over a week, a month? Can they? How does the pricing work?
They can practice more than once if they choose. If they do it, if they want to have a second interview, they can practice that as well.
Okay.
It's basically up to them, and they can do it anywhere. They can do it from their living room in their home. They can do it from a beach somewhere. They can do it on a mountaintop. It doesn't matter. It's the great thing about this is that it's accessible 24/7. They don't have to make any appointment. It's available to them, and it's affordable.
And will you have KPIs because I imagine what would be really powerful is to get the number or to see if he ended up getting the visa approved. Is there going to be a way to track kind of the efficiency where I don't know what the adjusted approval rate is for B1, B2s. I know E2s is 90, but yeah. I'd imagine this will get them,
Well, we're hoping by with this tool that they can that they'll be much more successful in getting their visa. I think overall, maybe worldwide, maybe 70% approval rate of the B1, B2 visas overall. That's an interesting question, whether we'd be able to track if they actually got the visa or not, but that would be something that we would hope to.
What are some reasons for denial for the B1, B2?
Mm-hmm. A major denial is that the consular officer is not convinced that applicant is going to return home. There's a lot of individuals a lot of applicants that come on the B1, B2, and they overstay their visa. So they have to be certain, to the best of their knowledge, the consular officers, that the person is going to return home. Also, another factor is financial. If they're going to have the financial means to come to the U.S. and spend, say, a week or a month, or usually they get up to 6 months on the B1, B2, but they're going to have to prove that they have the financial resources to actually stay in the U.S. So if they can't prove that they're going to be going back home, and they can't, show that they have sufficient assets, those are a couple of reasons for denial.
What are some ways that people prove that they're going to come back home? Because it's a non-immigrant visa. Is it property or businesses back home?
All that.
Family?
So yeah, basically you want to know, if you own any property, own any businesses, bank accounts, and also their ties to the country, like if they have family, immediate family members, even, if their relatives are there, and so forth. And, so all those questions are asked, and that's something that we can also do with immiprep when they prepare.
And then on the financial side, is it they're showing proof of bank statements or account balances? What will show, give the confidence that they're going to not be a ward of the state and be able to
right. I think
home?
that they're advised to bring all of that, and if the consular officer, does ask for that, then it's available. So yeah, I think all of that needs to be shown, or the officer needs to be convinced that this is the case, that they're not fabricating, or they're,
And I know, like at Visa Franchise, currently we're not helping people obtain B1, B2 visas. We really focus on E2, L1, O1, and some of the green card categories like EB1A, EB2NAW, EB5. But for the E2 specifically, our clients in Canada, it's like a 5-minute interview, 10-minute interview. We've had clients in some Asian countries like Singapore, more like 60 minutes. What do you see? What can one expect from a B1, B2 visa interview?
It's a very quick interview. Normally the interview could take maybe a minute or two, or a couple minutes. It's very short. So the preparation, as I said, we're going to give them the typical questions that they would be asked at the interview. So they'll be prepared to answer the question. And even though it's a very short interview at the consulate or the embassy, they'll be able to ace it.
How important do you think the interview is versus the content that one provides in their DS-160 for the B1, B2?
Well, it's all important. Obviously, if there's any, as I mentioned before, any discrepancies or inconsistencies, those are grounds for denial, perhaps. But I think you have to be well prepared. You have to present yourself. You have to be able to convince the officer that you're going there for that specific reason. You're going for tourism. You're going for maybe a conference. You're going for whatever, a wedding, whatever it may be. But you have to be convincing, and you have to show that, as I mentioned before, that you're going to return home. You have ties to your home country, because that's also very important. That there are many people that overstay their visas, and they're here, many more than their time allotted.
And you can see, I was diving in the data years back. There is a correlation with the B1, B2 approval rate and the overstay rate that's published for each country. So.
Correct. Right. And some countries have a very high rate of overstays. Some have, low rate. So it just kind of, it's country specific.
And then some seems a little political too. Like Argentina, I think the approval rate was like something like 95% for the B1, B2. And I think they're going to eventually get ESTA, but there's still a decent overstay rate for Argentina. Yeah. So
in the Western Hemisphere, I know Chile is one that does not require. It's a visa waiver country, ESTA, as you mentioned. I think those are political decisions. Which countries to maybe have the visa waiver, and those that still need the interview.
And I imagine there will be people that thought they could do it themselves, didn't have to prepare for the interview, then were denied for the B1, B2. And that's going to come up where I'm sure people will then take it more seriously and reapply for the B1, B2. Do you have any advice for those applicants, and particularly how immiprep.ai can help for people that are applying a second time or even a third time for the B1, B2 visa?
Sure, because what they're going to get is they're going to get the feedback, and they're going to get the summary, which includes their strengths and weaknesses. And so they'll have a comprehensive analysis, which immiprep does, and they'll be able to, to look at that and explore, not always given the reasons why they were denied. That's one issue, that the U.S. government normally doesn't share the information, why they were denied. But I think with immiprep.ai, they'll be very well prepared, and that's the goal.
So for the B1, B2, as opposed to the E2, where I think it's pretty much every consulate, they'll get the box checked of why they were denied. Like if the business was marginal or not substantial investment, and they'll check a box. For B1, B2, they don't need to provide a reason.
My understanding is for the B1, B2, normally the reasons are not given. I know that, individuals, applicants could be denied for a variety of reasons, as we discussed. But as far as, the actual reasons why, I understand normally they're not really provided that information.
You mentioned the visas that you'll be working with, down the line, exploring other visas that are approved at U.S. embassies and consulates around the world. What else does the future of immiprep.ai look like?
Well, we're also looking into multilingual aspect, which is right now it's going to be in English. Only we started out with English, but we know when applicants go to embassies and consulates, they can use their native language. So hopefully in the future we're going to expand it to multilingual, Spanish, Portuguese, and maybe other languages as well.
Very cool. Yeah, and would you say the majority of people applying, for example, in India, are doing the interview in Hindi, or is it usually done in their native tongue?
I think they have the option. A lot of people in India, English is widely spoken there. So I would imagine a lot of people do it in English, but I know that they're given the option, and the consular officers in those particular embassies and consulates are usually fluent in the local languages. So I'm sure, some do it in Hindi as well. But I would say, English in India is a very dominant language. So,
well, Alan, is there anything that we didn't talk about, relevant to your background or immiprep.ai that you think would be relevant for our audience?
I just think it's the main idea is that it's going to be accessible 24/7. It's going to be affordable, and you're going to be very well prepared when you go into that consulate or embassy for your visa interview. So I'd hopefully individuals, applicants will enjoy looking at it, and it's interactive. So you're essentially with the AI interviewer, you're essentially looking at a consular officer in disguise. It's the AI interviewer. So I think it's a great product.
Well, there you have it, Alan. Former USCIS, U.S. Customs and Immigration Services officer, has reviewed over 10,000 cases, 10,000 plus interviews, and he's building tech that will make it much more accessible and probably bring in a lot more money to the United States. As the average tourist, I remember the numbers, going way back, 5,000 every time a Brazilian, for example, comes to the U.S. So there's a lot of money involved in the B1, B2, and a lot of benefit that the U.S. can gain from having more people come to the U.S.
I did just one addition. I know this coming summer is the World Cup. And there's a lot of fans in Latin America and around the world that would want to see their teams in the World Cup. So hopefully that'll be a huge event that will get a lot of tourists.
Well, thanks, Alan. I really appreciate your time today.
Welcome. Thank you for having me come.
Thank you.